Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Clark versus Bolden.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Good day. Mr. Clark, you're here to prove to Ms. Bolden that you are the biological father of her 3-year-old daughter, LaKearney Clark. And once the DNA results prove you're right, you want to be able to spend more time with your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Bolden, you say that you've always told Mr. Clark he was not your daughter's father and hope that once these results are revealed, the real biological father, Mr. Moore, who will enter the court in a moment, will step up.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Clark, why are these results so important to you?
Because it's a little child's life at stake, and my life is at stake too. And she's everything to me. She's my princess, and I really care about her.
And so you are convinced that you are, in fact, the father. But you say, Ms. Bolden, that's not the case.
No, ma'am.
So explain.
One day we had an argument about bills, as usual, about his half on the bills. He stormed out the door, so I stormed out the door too. I called Mr. Moore, and we had got a hotel room, and that night I had sex with Mr. Moore, and that's the night I think I conceived.
And so you were dating Mr. Clark.
Right.
Got the argument, you stormed out, then you cheated with Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Clark, while all of this was going on, you believed you were the father all along?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you ever giving any indication that you were not?
No, Your Honor.
So when you found out she was pregnant, you immediately said, "This is my child"?
Yes, Your Honor. I had no doubts.
You went to doctor's appointments?
No, Your Honor.
You didn't. Were you at the hospital when the baby was born?
After, Your Honor.
After. Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let me see that. Jerome, please. And so, Ms. Bolden, all this is going on, and he's signing the birth certificate, and he thinks this is his child, and you know in your mind you say that it's not?
Yes.
So during your pregnancy, during the child's birth, did you ever say anything, give a hint?
Yes, ma'am. We had got into it one day about the bills as usual. My 7 months pregnant, I went to the doctor and got an ultrasound for my baby. And when I came home, I showed him the ultrasound, and I showed it to him, and then I told him he might not be the father.
Do you remember that conversation, Mr. Clark?
Yes, Your Honor.
So she did say you may not be the father.
This was after we separated.
But this was before LaKearney was born, right?
This was after she was born that I found this. That she started saying that LaKearney wasn't mine.
She just said it's when she had an ultrasound.
No. This was after she gave birth to LaKearney.
So you had no clue until afterwards.
Right.
Ms. Bolden, you're saying that you told him specifically before.
Yes, I did.
So at what point did you tell the other man that he was a possibility?
He already knew. He never had doubts of my baby. He always said he just wanted the DNA test with her to prove that he is the father.
So, Mr. Clark, did you know there was another man that she was talking about a DNA test with?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes, Your Honor.
So at what point did you find this out?
During the relationship, I knew she cheated on me and did all of this, but like I said, I had no doubt that she was my daughter. I always felt like that. No doubt in my mind whatsoever.
So when she was born, you started a relationship with her. You became her father.
I had a bond, Your Honor.
And you had a bond.
Right.
You still have a bond.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Bolden, while you're seeing this bond develop, and you know in your mind that there's another possibility, are you reminding Mr. Clark?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Oh. So now you're just letting him go on and believe that LaKearney is his child?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because I really didn't want to hurt his feelings anymore about my baby might not be his.
And so at what point did you decide to say, I gotta tell him, I have to tell him?
My baby was like 1 year old.
And what did you say?
I told him there is a possibility that my baby might not be his.
So what made you say that?
Just looking at my baby, she don't look like him. Like, she has no similarities to him, period.
So you felt like as she grew and developed, you just didn't see a similarity?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
So now, Mr. Clark, do you remember that day?
Yes, Your Honor. This was after we broke up.
LaKearney was born, though.
Right, she was
but
born.
Ms. Bolden, now let me be clear. You said you told him before,
Yes, I
after
did.
the ultrasound, and then you brought it up again when LaKearney was 1,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
So now we're at the instance when she's 1 year old.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so what did she say, Mr. Clark, exactly?
I mean, we stayed arguing all the time. You know, she made statements, I guess just to hurt me, that she wasn't mine, but yet and still, I had no doubt in my mind that little girl is mine. I always felt like she was my daughter, and I feel like this still. Whenever me and LaKearney meet, it's magical. You know what I'm saying? And she's very happy when she sees me.
He's like that because you the only person she knows.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So now that you've told the other man, Mr. Moore, has he developed any type of relationship with LaKearney?
He wants to be involved. He just said he needs a DNA test to prove that he is the father. He barely comes around because he don't know where I stay and he don't know my number. Only time he can contact me is on Facebook.
So if he's your daughter's father, why is it, there's a possibility he is, why is it he doesn't have any way to contact you?
Because I'm always changing my number. Like, I change my number like 3 times out of a month.
You do?
Yes.
Why?
Because certain people have my number and I don't want them having my number, so I just changed my number.
But if this man could be your child's father, how can they keep up with their child?
Well, actually, they know where my brother stayed. They know where my grandma lives at. I be over there checking on her sometimes, but I just don't want them having my number.
So, Ms. Bolden, does Mr. Clark have your number and does he get to see LaKearney?
Only time he get to see her is when she's at my sister's house. No, he don't have my number, and no, he don't know where I stay. His attitude towards me is so terrible, so I try not to deal with him on any type of level.
All right, so you all have been having a lot of trouble getting along.
Right.
So, Mr. Clark, as I look at your face, it seems like you really hurt about this.
I am, Your Honor. I feel devastated. It's unexplainable right now. I mean, I don't know what I'd do if I found out LaKearney wasn't mine. I don't know what I'd do.
So you're here today and you're truly hoping that this little girl is yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
So now, this other father, does he want to be a father too? Does he want to be involved?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you in a relationship with him at all?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Jerome, I want to meet this other possible father. Can you please escort
Sure.
Mr. Moore in? Mr. Moore, thank you for being here. We're here discussing the paternity as it relates to LaKearney. Do you believe you're this child's biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
You do?
Yes.
Why do you believe that?
I believe that because she looks just like me and my son, Your Honor.
So you see a strong resemblance?
Yes.
Think she looks like you?
Yes.
So now, do you want to be her father? You want to be there for her?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
How involved have you been in her life?
Not that much.
So if you want her to be your child and you think she's your child, why are you not involved in her life?
Because she don't bring her around. It's hard to keep up with her.
Well, we've heard testimony that would validate that for certain. She says she changes her number. So, Ms. Bolden, let me hear from your witness. Please stand up, ma'am. State your name.
Wanda Moore.
Who are you related to in this situation?
Billy Moore. This is my brother.
This is your brother?
Yes, ma'am.
But you're standing with Ms. Bolden?
Yes, ma'am.
So what do you know about this situation?
What I know is that's my niece.
You do?
Yes, ma'am. I know from day one that little girl was my niece. I make sure she get things for her birthday. I just spend time with her. My kids know her. She know my son. You know,
And why are you so certain?
because she looks just like us. Nose, mouth, everything. She even act like us.
Ms. Bolden, you're allowing Ms. Moore to do these things for LaKearney, right?
Right.
You have her number?
No, ma'am.
On Facebook. We
I don't understand this, Jerome.
But I mean, I get through her on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you allow her to be a part of LaKearney's life in this way?
Yes, ma'am, because we get along.
Mr. Clark, when you hear about how she's allowing the Moore family to really take LaKearney in and accept her as their own, what does that make you feel like?
It upsets me. Like this past Christmas, you know, I don't work, you know what I'm saying, but I'm self-employed. I cut hair. I do tattoos from time to time. I took my hard-working money and bought LaKearney 2 gifts, you know, and I dropped them out to her house. She wasn't there this Christmas. I didn't get to see her. I got word that she had to open up her gifts on the porch because they were for me, and I feel like that was wrong.
Why would you do that, Ms. Bolden?
Yes, I left the gifts on the porch. Only reason why I got the gifts off the porch is because my baby sent them.
Just like on Facebook, I seen Mr. Moore holding a picture of LaKearney. It upset me. That's not your child. But she the one who posted the picture, though. And she knew I was gonna see it, so she did that in spite just to hurt me, to get at me.
I didn't know if you were gonna see it because you blocked on Facebook. Your mouth too
At that
fast.
time, I wasn't.
So you saw this picture on Facebook of Mr. Moore and the little girl you say is your daughter, but it's referring to Mr. Moore as daddy.
Right. I just can't do nothing but go through with it until I find out what's going on today.
So you've brought a witness as well. I'd like to hear from your witness. Please stand, ma'am. State your name.
Closet Moore.
And you're another Moore.
Yes.
Ms. Moore, you are?
Billy Moore's sister.
You are another one of Mr. Moore's sisters.
Yes.
But you're standing with Mr. Clark.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you have to add to this?
Well, Your Honor, the reason why I'm here is because LaToya and Mr. Clark were staying together at the time that the baby was made, but she told my brother it was his baby as well. So we really...
She told me it wasn't mine.
Well,
then turned around and told me it was.
Well, she told him it wasn't his and turned around and told him it was, and that what got me with a little doubts that it's his baby, it's Mr. Clark's baby.
So you believe LaKearney is Mr. Clark's child?
Yes, Your Honor, a little bit.
You do?
Yes.
Because at first you're saying Ms. Bolden told Mr. Moore it was not his child.
Yes, ma'am. And that's why I got doubts. You know,
And
Ms. Clark was...
And LaKearney calls me daddy.
She called me dad, too.
Yeah. Yes.
Ms. Bolden, does she call both men daddy?
Yes, you do.
Is that confusing for her?
Yes, it is.
Wow. So, Ms. Bolden, are you hoping Mr. Clark is not the biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
Or do you truly believe he's not the biological father?
I truly believe he's not.
On our behalf, like I said, they were staying together, they had a relationship together. So that's why I say that, you know, it's Mr. Clark, baby, because they was in a relationship. But she looked just like us and everything, you know. I just want to know is my brother, baby.
And I just want to know the truth, too.
And I have that truth for you. Jerome, let's have the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. In the case of Clark versus Bolden, when it comes to 3-year-old LaKearney Clark, and whether Mr. Clark or Mr. Moore is her biological father, it has been determined by this court that the biological father is Mr. Clark.
I knew it.
You do. You're very happy. That's good. Ms. Bolden,
Yes.
how do you feel?
I mean, I feel the same. It's no difference. And neither one of them in her life.
Do you want Mr. Clark to step up and play a bigger role in her life?
To be honest with you, Your Honor, no. It's just we don't get along.
He does have a legal right to see his child. Wouldn't it be easier on LaKearney if you all could figure out some type of visitation and a way to work together?
Yes.
Do you want to work on that, Mr. Clark?
Yes, Your Honor, for the baby's sake.
Now, Ms. Moore, I see that you are very sad. You really, really hope that that was your niece.
Yep.
So you all have come to love her? She's your niece. Will you all still stay in her life?
Yes.
You're not gonna leave her life.
Yes, I'm still gonna be there
Always
for
be in
her.
her life.
And so that means if we do this right, family, she could have an amazing village around her of people that love her. Ms. Bolden, is it okay if Mr. Clark sees his little girl?
No, ma'am, it's not.
You just want him to pay.
Right. Because, like, if I bring my baby around, it's always arguments and stuff that I don't have time for.
So what you're saying is you don't want drama. And I understand as a mother why you don't want that around your little girl. What I also understand is this little girl has a right to know who her father is. And it would be so much easier on her if the court didn't have to be involved. I'm going to offer you an opportunity to let her see him completely supervised. I will be there in my chambers. There will be no drama. Will you allow him to see her in my chambers?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. I will meet you there. Good luck to all of you. Remember, take advantage of the resources we have for you. I'll meet Mr. Clark and Ms. Bolden in my chambers. Court is adjourned.